Economics N4, and this is a question paper of June 2025. As we also look at the last question that we have on the question paper, that is our question 5. So on the first question that we have, it is explain the term market. And of course, in terms of market, basically it involves the means by which the exchange of goods and services takes place as a result of buyers and sellers being in contact with one another. So basically, this explains that it's a place where things are bought and sold. So basically, a place where we have buyers and sellers meeting explains a market. So in terms of our explanation on market, it is according to our answer section now, it refers to market refers to all buyers and sellers who influence the price of goods and services, or it refers to conditions where buyers and sellers meet or interact to negotiate about a business transaction. So this is the explanation that we have. Then, in terms of 5.2, it requires us to name and explain 5 characteristics of labor. And of course, we know that labor involves the physical and mental effort by employees. So this is labor. So the characteristics revolve around labor time, and that is the length of the work day. How long will the work day constitute their characteristics, and also the inborn aptitude is also part of that. We've got labor ability also part of the characteristics. So we have them as listed in other sections saying, in terms of size and composition of labor force, population size play an important role in determining the size of labor force and the number of economically active population. And then in terms of labor time, length of the workday and workers' productivity lifespan. Then we've got inborn aptitude, and that is the different and aptitude among different population groups and different occupations. So, of course, according to our inborn aptitude, you'll see that it's a natural potential ability to do certain kinds of work or perform certain activities that is physical or mental that you are born with. So basically, that is the inborn aptitude. So we go to allow a labor ability influenced by health, availability of medical services, and nutrition, etc. Then looking at training, a level of education and training of laborers, industrial classification of labor force, direction in which labor force are applied in the economy. So basically, these are the characteristics that we have in terms of labor. Then move on to the next part, which is now our 5.3, whereby you have to compare free goods and economic goods. But basically, when they're looking at free goods, basically these are goods that are in abundance with availability, which is not a constraint on economic activity. So that's what we have on a free good. And basically, also we can say that a free good is a good that is not scarce. It's not also scarce. It's available without limit. So that is a free good. So looking at economic goods, and these are goods that are scarce now. They are now scarce relative to demand and involve an opportunity cost when consumed. So they have got an opportunity cost when consumed. They have limited supply relative to human ones. That is economic goods. So you can see the differentiation that is there between economic goods and free goods. So, of course, according to the other section, we have got a tabulated analysis in terms of the difference between the two, whereby under free goods, we are saying it is unlimited in nature, whereby economic goods, they are limited. Then free goods do not command a price, whereby economic goods command a price. Then free goods also have utility but no usage value, whereby economic goods have utility and usage value. And then lastly, free goods do not belong to anyone, whereby economic goods belong to someone. So these are the differences that we have. Then 5.4, discuss 4 factors that influence the elasticity of demand. So we need to understand first what we mean by elasticity of demand. So basically, elasticity of demand measures how sensitive the quality of a product demanded is to changes in a specific economic factor. So you'll see that the economic factors that are going to determine the sensitivity of demand. For example, we have got income. The income of consumers also is going to be part of that. And the availability of substitute goods also Remember, a substitute good is a good that can be used in place of another good. So if there's a substitute good that is there, it means that the demand of that product uh, is elastic. It means it obviously responds sensitively to changes. The demand could change sensitively or the changes in the prices of that particular good. So, for example, if the price of that particular good is increased, it means customers can easily shift away and buy another good. This is a substitute good. So, in that case, it represents that it is more sensitive to uh, more sensitive to changes in price, which makes the elasticity of demand to be elastic. So, from that point of view, we see that these are the factors that we have, whereby we have availability of close substitute as one of them. Consumers can use a substitute product in the place of another product to satisfy needs or wants. We also have nature of product, price elasticity of demand for essential products such as basic food stuff tend to be inelastic. So, nature of the product, we are saying if they are essential products, it means consumers will always buy them even if the price is increased. So, with that sense, we're going to see that there's not going to be much difference even if the price of a essential good is increased because consumers will always buy it. So it becomes inelastic. So it means that the quantity demanded is not very sensitive, so it becomes inelastic. So that is what we have. And then we go to habit forming products. Habit forming products also, they've got inelastic demand because even if the prices of a habit forming product is increased, for example, alcohol and cigarettes, if their price increases, we see that consumers will buy them because of being addicted. So it becomes inelastic. It means that the quantity demanded is not going to be very much affected by changes in price. So it becomes inelastic. Then we go to proportion of income spent on a product. So if the proportion is very small, it means it's not going to have any effect on quantity demanded, so it becomes inelastic. But if you've got higher proportion, if the prices of those products that constitute a higher proportion of income of individuals, if prices increases, obviously those individuals are not going to buy those products because almost all the income might be taken by that product. So in that case, those products they've got elastic demand, and the quantity demanded will be very sensitive. So that is what we have. So we go to durability of the product. How long are you going to stay with that product? The more durable a product is, and the more elastic as the demand will be. And then price elasticity of demand tend to be more elastic over a period of time. So these are the factors that we have. And then we go to 5.5, compare a closed economy and an open economy. So of course, a closed economy is the one that do not engage in interactions with other economies. In other words, they do not trade with other economies. It's only an economy that only activities are taken inside the economy. Whereby in an open economy, it engages in interactions with other economies, whereby it engages in international trade, it engages in globalization. So basically, that's what we have. So with that, we see that we have those comparisons as we look in our other section. In a closed economy, the foreign sector is excluded, no imports and exports, of course. Then in an open economy, operation of the foreign sector is included, imports and exports take place. So that's what we have. 5.6 list 4 characteristics of indifference curves. So of course, we have indifference curve. So of course, our indifference curve is a graphical representation of combined products that give similar kind of satisfaction to a consumer, thereby making them indifferent. So all the products that are indifferent, it means they give the same satisfaction to consumers. So you're going to notice that an indifference curve can be presented graphically, whereby we've got the vertical axis and the horizontal axis, and of course, but then if you check in terms of the curve, it bows inwards, whereby it is typically like this. So this is the nature of indifferent curves. So when they become many like this, whereby we've got indifferent curve 1, and this one becomes indifferent curve 2, and this one becomes indifferent curve 3. So it becomes an indifference map So that's exactly what we have. So in terms of our question, it requires 4 characteristics of indifference caves. So we can simply deduce some of the characteristics that are the indifference caves do not intersect. That's a characteristic. They do not intersect. And you look at the shape of the cave, see that it is bowing inwards. So it's another characteristic. So this is convex to the origin, bowing inwards. So that's another characteristic that you can come up with. So within that context, we have those characteristics as listed: slopes downwards from left to right, as indicated. Order of preference are never touch or intersect, are convex on the side of the origin or rounded in shape, infinite in number. So those are the characteristics that we have. And moving on to the last part of our question 5.7, complete the following table by writing only the missing values. Of course, we can start by 5.7.1. Remember, by the columns that were given, if you say fixed cost plus variable cost, you get total cost. So basically, we are saying fixed cost plus variable cost, you get your total. So we're going to base our calculations on this formula. So here we can just represent our variable cost. Our variable cost. So in terms of our fixed costs, we have got for the first part to get our 5.7.1, we've got 200, 200 plus the variable cost, which is not given at this point, will give us total cost of 200. So it means if you make variable cost table the formula, it becomes variable cost is equal to 200. Take this 200, the other side, it becomes a negative minus 200. So it becomes 0. So our variable cost is 0. So we have got 0 here. And of course, we move on to the second calculation. So on the second calculation, we have got 5.7.2. So on 5.7.2, we have total cost missing. So basically, we can say fixed cost, which is 200, plus variable cost, which is 100. We get our total cost is 300. So 300 is what we have on this part. And then we go to 5.7.3. What is missing is total variable cost. So we calculate, but first we present it in the form of the formula that we have, whereby we are saying fixed cost is 200 on this part. Then we add our variable cost, which we want to calculate. You get our total cost is 350. So to get your variable cost, we'll do the same thing. Say 350. We take 200 the other side, it becomes a negative, so minus 200. So our variable cost becomes 150. So we have 150 at this point. And then we move on to the next calculation, which is now 5.74. So here we are saying fixed cost. This is the missing figure, plus 200, which is this one, will give us 400. So making fixed cost subject to the formula, it becomes equal to 400. We take 200 on the other side, it becomes a negative, so minus 200. So it makes our fixed cost equal to 200. So we have our 200 in this part. Then on the last part, we calculate 5.7.5. So 5.7.5, what is missing is total cost. So basically, we say fixed cost 200 plus variable cost 250. Then we get a total cost, which is going to be 450. So it means on this part, we have 450. So basically, this is what we have. So this becomes the last part that we have in terms of our last question. This is question 5. We see that it is a total of 50 marks. So thank you for listening, and hopefully the video was helpful. And please don't forget to subscribe and share to our channel. And we'll meet again in the next video.